In this video, we are going to learn about the different methods of constructing an ellipse. So the question is like this. First, I am writing the question. The major and minor axis of an ellipse are 80 millimeter and 60 millimeter respectively. So the major axis and minor axis of the ellipse, the lengths of the major axis and minor axis of the ellipse are supplied to you. Under such a situation, you have to draw the ellipse. Number 1, by a method known as concentric circle method. And number 2, by oblong method. So first we will see what is this concentric circle method is all about. So if we want to construct the ellipse by this concentric circle method, we have to start like this. Please follow the steps very carefully. So let us go to the solution. So first we will learn the ellipse construction by the concentric circle method. So please follow the different steps of this method as I am describing. First, draw the major axis of the ellipse, which is 80 millimeter in length according to the given question. So let us say that the major axis is this line segment AB, whose length is 80 millimeter. Then you draw the minor axis. How do you draw the minor axis? While drawing the minor axis, you have to keep two things in mind. The minor axis should be perpendicular to the major axis, and it should pass through the midpoint of the major axis in such a way that the major axis and the minor axis will bisect each other. So first you find out the midpoint of the major axis. So take any point here which is 40 millimeter from any one of the two ends, because the total length is 80 millimeter. And then you draw half of the minor axis on this side. So this is 30 millimeter, and the remaining half of the minor axis on this side. So this is also 30 millimeter. So that the total length of the minor axis from this point up to this point is 60 millimeter, which is the given length of the minor axis according to the given question. Okay, so let us name the minor axis as, say, CD, and let the major axis and minor axis intersect each other at some point, say O. Okay, so this is the major axis whose length is 80 millimeter. This is the minor axis whose length is 60 millimeter. They are perpendicular to each other. The major axis and minor axis are perpendicular to each other and they bisect each other, which means that this portion of the major axis is 40 millimeter and the remaining portion is again 40 millimeter, so that the total length becomes 80 millimeter. Again, as far as the minor axis is concerned, this length is 30 millimeter from C to O, and from O to D is another 30 millimeter, so that the total length of the minor axis starting from the point C up to the point D becomes 60 millimeter. After this, what you have to do is taking the major axis and the minor axis as diameters. Again, I repeat, taking the major axis and the minor axis as diameters, you have to draw two circles. So for one of the circles, the major axis AB will be the diameter, and for the other circle, the minor axis CD will be the diameter. Now I am drawing these two circles. Please pay attention. So first I am drawing the circle with the minor axis as the diameter. So if I draw a circle with CD as the diameter, the circle will appear somewhat like this. So for this circle, the minor axis CD is the diameter. So this is a circle centered at this point O and having a diameter of 60 millimeter. Now you draw another circle with the major axis as the diameter. So if you draw that circle, it will appear like this. So this is the other circle drawn with the major axis as the diameter. Now the two circles are having the common center O. For both the circles, the center is same. Therefore, this circle and this circle are concentric circles because they have the same center, and therefore this method of ellipse construction, where we take the help of two concentric circles, is referred to as concentric circle method for ellipse construction. Now after constructing these two concentric circles, what we have to do is we have to divide both the circles into 12 equal parts. So before dividing both the circles into 12 equal parts, let us do one very small and insignificant construction. Let us extend the minor axis to intersect the larger circle. Now from now on, this smaller circle, which has been drawn with the minor axis as the diameter, I will refer to this circle as the minor axis circle, and the larger circle, which has been drawn with the major axis as the diameter, this circle I will refer to as the major axis circle. Okay. So from now on, again I repeat, from now on, the smaller circle, which has been drawn with the minor axis as the diameter, I will refer to this circle as the minor axis circle, and the larger circle, which has been drawn with the major axis as the diameter, I will refer to this circle as the major axis circle. Now the next step in the construction is division of both the circles simultaneously into 12 equal parts. You have to divide both the circles into 12 equal parts. So how will we divide both the circles into 12 equal parts? This can be done if you divide the total angle covered by both the circles at its center. So what is the total angle covered by a circle at its center? It is 360 degree. So if you divide it into 12 equal parts, each part will consist of an included angle of 360 degree divided by 12, that is 30 degree. So what we will do is, with the help of our protractor or any other angle measuring instrument, we will draw a line like this, where this angle is simply 30 degree. Again you draw another line like this somewhere here. This angle is again 30 degree, this angle, this is again 30 degree. So this angle automatically becomes 30 degree because this total angle is 90 degree. So the same thing, so you see this part, this portion of both the circles, this portion of both the circles has been divided into 3 equal parts, 1, 2 and 3. So if we repeat this thing in this quadrant and this quadrant, the entire circle will be divided into 12 equal parts. So what we can do is we can repeat whatever we have done in this quadrant in another quadrant first. So first let us repeat this in this quadrant. So you draw a line like this such that this angle is 30 degree, and draw yet another line such that this angle is again 30 degree. So this angle will be automatically 30 degree because this total angle is 90 degree. Now if you extend all these lines, this line, this line, this line and this line into the other two quadrants, into this quadrant and this quadrant, the task of dividing the two circles into 12 equal parts will be complete. So just extrapolate this line, extrapolate this line, extrapolate this line and extrapolate this line to complete the remaining task. So you see both the circles have been divided into 12 equal parts, each part covering an angle of 360 degree divided by 12 equal to 30 degree. Now the division points on the major axis circle, let us assign numbers to these division points. So let us call this point as 1, let us call this point as 2, let us call this point as 3, let us call this point as 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Similarly, the division points on the smaller circle, that is the division points on the circle which was drawn with the minor axis as the diameter, let us number as 1 dashed, 2 dashed, 3 dashed, 4 dashed, 5 dashed, 6 dashed, 7 dashed, 8 dashed, 9 dashed, 10 dashed, 11 dash and 12 dash. So up till now what we have done, if I want to recapitulate, it will be like this. First we have drawn the major axis of length 80 mm and named it as AB. Then we have drawn the minor axis with a length of 60 mm and named it as CD. Now after that we have drawn two circles. The smaller circle was drawn with the minor axis as the diameter and it was named as the minor axis circle. And the larger circle was drawn with the major axis as the diameter and it was named as the major axis circle. After that, both the circles were simultaneously divided into 12 equal parts, each part covering an angle of 360 degree divided by 12 equal to 30 degree. And after the division was done, the division points on the major axis circle were named as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on up to 12, and the division points on the minor axis circle were named as 1 dashed, 2 dashed, 3 dashed, 4 dashed, 5 dashed and so on up to 12 dashed. Now what we have to do is we have to obtain some points by joining which we can get the desired ellipse. So how to obtain those points? This is very critical. You see already we have some points which will lie on the ellipse. Let us identify those points first. You see point A. The point A is one of the ends of the major axis. The two ends of the major axis and the two ends of the minor axis, they will always lie on the ellipse. So there is no confusion regarding the fact that point A will lie on the ellipse, point B will lie on the ellipse, because these are the two ends of the major axis, they must lie on the ellipse. Similarly, the two ends of the minor axis will also lie on the ellipse. So point C will lie on the ellipse and also point D will lie on the ellipse, because C and D are the two ends of the minor axis. Now, if we have only 4 points lying on the ellipse with us, it is very difficult to join these 4 points and get the desired elliptic curve. So we need some more points so that the curve can be drawn in a better and more accurate way. So the remaining points, how to obtain, this is exactly what I am going to teach you now. Consider the point 1 and 1 dashed. From the point 1, you draw a line which is parallel to the minor axis, and from point 1 dashed you draw a line which is parallel to the major axis. So from 1 dashed you should draw a horizontal line. From point 1 you have drawn a line which is parallel to the minor axis, and from point 1 dashed you should draw a line which is parallel to the major axis, that is a horizontal line. Wherever they intersect, that point you call as P1. This is one of the points that is going to lie on the ellipse, other than the two ends of the major axis and the two ends of the minor axis. Similarly, from 2 and 2 dashed, by doing a similar construction, you can get another point which is going to lie on that same ellipse. Similarly, from 4 and 4 dashed, you are going to get another point which is going to lie on the ellipse. Similarly, from 5 and 5 dashed, by doing a similar construction, you are going to get another point which is going to lie on the ellipse. In this way, we can generate a number of points which are going to lie on the ellipse other than the 4 points which are already there, namely A, B, C and D. That is the two ends of the major axis and the two ends of the minor axis. Okay. Now, one thing you should note here, from point 1 we have drawn a vertical line, that is a line parallel to the minor axis, and from the point 1 dashed we have drawn a horizontal line, that is a line parallel to the major axis. So you have to remember one thing, that these two lines should not change their nature, that is by mistake you should not draw a line from 1 which is horizontal, and from 1 dashed you should not draw a line which is vertical, because from 1 dashed if you draw a line which is vertical, it will go like this. I am not drawing it because this diagram will become very clumsy. From 1 dashed if you draw a line vertically instead of horizontally, it will go like this, and from the point 1 if you draw a line horizontally instead of drawing it vertically, it will go like this. So they will meet somewhere here. Okay, so you might be confused as a student whether this construction is correct or whether this construction is correct. So for that you have to keep one simple rule in mind. You see, point 1 is lying on the major axis circle. Point 1 is lying on the major axis circle. So from point 1 you should draw a line which is parallel to the other axis. Other axis means minor axis, because point 1 is lying on the major axis circle. Similarly, point 1 dashed is lying on the minor axis circle. So the line which you will draw from 1 dashed should be parallel to the other axis, that is it should be parallel to the major axis. Because 1 dashed is a point lying on the minor axis, the line emerging from 1 dashed, the line originating from 1 dashed should be parallel to the other axis, that is the major axis, which makes this line horizontal, and 1 is a point on the major axis circle. So the line originating from this point 1 should be parallel to the other axis, means parallel to the minor axis. So it should be vertical. So this vertical line and this horizontal line will intersect at some point which you are going to call as P1. P1 is going to be one of the points which is going to lie on the final elliptic curve. Similarly, from 2 and 2 dashed we can generate another point P2. How can we generate that point? 2 is a point which is lying on the major axis circle. So from point 2 we should draw a line which is parallel to the minor axis. So we should draw a vertical line from here. And 2 dashed is a point which is lying on the minor axis circle. So from this point we should draw a line which is parallel to the other axis, parallel to the major axis. So it should be a horizontal line. So wherever these two lines meet, that point we can call as P2. Okay. Now which is our P3? The point C itself is our P3, because it is one of the ends of the minor axis. So it will lie on the ellipse. So point C itself is the point P3. Let us go for P4. The point P4 can be obtained by doing a similar construction as we have done for 1 1 dashed and 2 2 dashed. So you remember the rule. Point 4 is lying on the major axis circle. So from this point you should draw a line which is parallel to the minor axis, means a vertical line. And 4 dashed is a point which is lying on the minor axis circle. So from this point you should draw a line which is parallel to the major axis. So a horizontal line. So wherever they meet, that point you call as P4. Similarly, you can obtain P5 by doing a similar construction. What is P6? The point B itself is your P6 because it is one of the ends of the major axis. So point B will lie on the ellipse and point B is your P6. How will you obtain P7? By doing the necessary construction, by taking the reference points 7 and 7 dashed. 7 dashed is a point on the minor axis circle. So from here we should draw a line parallel to the major axis. So a horizontal line should originate from 7 dashed. And 7 is a point which is lying on the major axis circle. So from here we should draw a line parallel to the minor axis, that is a vertical line. So wherever they intersect, that is our P7. Similarly, from 8 and 8 dashed we can get P8 by a similar construction. What is P9? P9 is the point D because point D represents one of the two ends of the minor axis and both ends of the minor axis should lie on the ellipse. So the point D should also lie on the ellipse. So point D is our P9. How to get P10? 10 dashed is a point on the minor axis circle. So from 10 dashed we should draw a line parallel to the major axis. So from 10 dashed we should draw a horizontal line. And 10 is a point lying on the major axis circle. So from point 10 we should draw a line which is parallel to the minor axis. That is a vertical line. So wherever these two lines intersect, that point is P10. And P11 can be obtained by a similar construction. This is P11. And what is P12? The point A itself is your P12. Because point A represents one of the two ends of the major axis. Since both ends of major axis will lie on the ellipse, the point A will also lie on the ellipse. Therefore, point A is our P12. Now, after obtaining all these points from P1 up to P12, what you have to do is you have to join all these points by an instrument which is referred to as French curve. So, if the opportunity presents itself, I will definitely show you how to use a French curve, and before that I should also show you how a French curve looks. Okay, for the time being you can use your internet resources to get acquainted with the shape and use of French curve, but I am telling you that using a French curve it will be possible for you to join all these 12 points part by part. First you take point P1, P2, P3, then P2, P3, P4, then P3, P4, P5. In this way you gradually proceed and join all the 12 points by a smooth curve which is going to resemble an ellipse. And for that joining purpose you are going to use a drawing instrument which is referred to as French curve. So in this video I am going to join all these 12 points by freehand just to give you an idea about this complete construction. So after obtaining these 12 points is over, you simply join these 12 points by a smooth curve which is going to resemble an ellipse. So this is 50% of the ellipse that I have already drawn with the blue colored line. The remaining 50% I am drawing now. So this is how the ellipse will appear. Okay. So this is the desired ellipse. So this is how the ellipse construction can be done by following this method which is referred to as the concentric circle method. Now before finishing off with this video where we intended to learn about the concentric circle method, I would like to quickly recapitulate the different steps which we followed, or summarize the different steps that we followed for constructing an ellipse by this concentric circle method. The first thing that we did was we drew the major axis AB of length 80 mm which is mentioned in the question, and then we drew the minor axis CD of length 60 mm, And while drawing the major axis and minor axis, we ensured that both the axes are perpendicular to each other and they bisect each other. Let them intersect at the point O. After that, what we did was we drew two circles. The smaller circle was drawn with the minor axis as the diameter, and the larger circle was drawn with the major axis as the diameter. So we got two concentric circles, two circles having the same center. Therefore, these two circles can be called as concentric circles, and the method is referred to as concentric circle method because we are taking the help of two concentric circles to construct an ellipse. After that, what we did was we divided both the circles simultaneously into 12 equal parts. So after both the circles were divided into 12 equal parts, each part covering an angle of 30 degree, we named the division points on the major axis circle as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 12. And then we named the division points on the minor axis circle as 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash and so on up to 12 dash. Then what we did was we took 1 and 1 dash. Out of these 2 points, the point which is lying on the major axis circle, from that point a line was drawn which was parallel to the minor axis. And from the other point which is lying on the minor axis circle, a line was drawn making it parallel to the major axis. The point where those two lines intersect was called as P1. Then this construction was repeated for all the other pairs of points 2, 2 dash, 3, 3 dash, 4, 4 dash, 5, 5 dash, 6, 6 dash up to 12, 12 dash to obtain all the 12 points P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 up to P12, all of which are supposed to lie on the ellipse that we are trying to construct. So after obtaining all these 12 points from P1 to P12, you can join all of them by using a drawing instrument which is referred to as French curve to get the required ellipse. So this is how you construct an ellipse by the concentric circle method. Thank you.